Bonjour.
Euh, Notre présentation se fera en anglais, mais interprétation français à anglais est disponible en bas de votre écran de Zoom.
OK, merci.
Nous allons attendre quelques minutes pour que les participants se joignent à nous. Merci de votre patience. Bonjour, professeur Lemont. Bienvenue. Merci beaucoup pour votre temps ce matin.
Bonjour Andy, bonjour tout le monde.
Professeur Lemont, notre présentation se fera en anglais aujourd'hui, mais interprétation français-anglais est disponible en bas de votre écran de Zoom.
Ok, merci.
Hey, c'est bon.
Bonjour et bienvenue encore tout le monde. Notre présentation se fera en anglais aujourd'hui, mais interprétation français en anglais est disponible en bas de votre écran de Zoom. Nous allons attendre quelques minutes pour les participants se joindre à nous. Merci de votre patience. Nous commencerons dans environ 5 minutes. OK. Nous pouvons commencer. Encore, notre présentation se fait en anglais aujourd'hui, mais interprétation français et anglais est disponible en bas de votre écran de Zoom. Êtes-vous d'accord pour nous enregistrons cette session? Tout c'est bon avec ça?
Pas de problème, ça va. Bonjour tout le
Merci.
monde.
Merci. Bonjour, professeur Jodin. OK. Bon. Tout d'abord, nous tenons à exprimer notre sincère sympathie pour les difficultés, la violence et l'incertitude à laquelle Haïti est confronté en raison de la récente escalade. Nous espérons que vous, vos familles et vos collègues êtes en sécurité, tout bien considéré. Nous reconnaissons que le moment choisi pour ce webinaire n'est pas opportun et nous sommes profondément reconnaissants que vous ayez pris le temps de vous joindre à nous aujourd'hui. Nous nous réjouissons de poursuivre notre collaboration avec Haïti. La dernière fois, notre présentation aujourd'hui, c'est fait en anglais, mais interprétation français-anglais est disponible en bas de votre compte de Zoom. So welcome all. My name is Andy Billich. I'm a project manager with the National Renewable Energy Lab. Before working at NREL, I had the pleasure of working in and about Haiti for 4 years with EarthSpark International, building some solar microgrids in the south of Haiti. I'm very excited to be on with you again this morning. So thank you for making the time. I'm going to start with just some acknowledgements. This has been a collaboration between USAID, NREL, as well as the Faculté de Sciences from the Université d'Haïti. I want to say a special thank you to Professors Giraud, Lemont, Jadot, Egard, and Casimir de the Université, for Josue Noel from USAID, as well as my entire team here at the National Renewable Energy Lab. Today, we're going to be sharing an overview of some training materials and some course curriculum materials for off-grid solar in Haiti. We have quite a bit of material to get through, but would welcome discussion throughout this. We're going to be staying at a high level, talking through material. So we welcome any questions that you have. Feel free to either raise your hand with the function in Zoom or put your questions in chat. In French or in English, both are okay, and we will look to answer them kind of throughout. So with that, I'm going to move to kind of an overview of this material. For starters, the course itself it's meant to provide a bit of foundational knowledge for key information and concepts for off-grid solar in Haiti. It's not meant to be a fully comprehensive dive into any one particular subject area, but rather provide enough foundational knowledge that people can have more informed discussions about off-grid solar in Haiti, hopefully working to help create new partnerships and new opportunities for collaboration and investment in off-grid solar in Haiti, as well as building potential workforce or helping to support potential workforce learning for Haiti. The course, as you'll see, covers a variety of topics, including sort of a background on energy access and off-grid solar products, the market potential in Haiti, supply and demand considerations, system design and installation and maintenance, business models, financial modeling, and then some impact elements on gender, on productive use of energy for economic development, as well as for adaptation and resiliency. The course materials, as you'll find, are meant for everyone. They don't necessarily, you don't necessarily need any background in Haiti or in off-grid solar in particular. But if you do have that background in off-grid solar or Haiti, we think that you'll still find some materials that will be helpful for the work that you all are doing. The course is structured. There's 11 total modules, and depending on how fast you click through those PowerPoints, it's about 10 to 20 hours of content. While I'm going to be presenting today in English, all of the materials are available both in French and in English as downloadable PDFs. And we'll be sharing that information with all of you a little bit later in March. We're going through some of the final approval processes at the moment, but we will both email all of the folks on this webinar, as well as post them on the USAID Haiti, USAID NREL Haiti partnership website. And as I said, all of the material is somewhat high level, but you'll find throughout the modules that this training works a little bit like a repository for information as well. Because we're not able to do the big deep dives into certain subject matters, we have a bunch of references throughout our slides where you are able to find additional links, additional training materials, and additional kind of programs and projects to help with the learning on off-grid solar. So with that, I'll move to kind of an overview of our modules and talk through how I'm going to work through them this morning. So we have 11 modules, as I said. The first looks at sort of the basics of electricity and energy access and off-grid solar products. The second one is looking at kind of quality assurance and some standards for being confident both in what off-grid solar products are being sold, as well as what products are available for sales. Then we'll go through kind of a market assessment from USAID for the potential for off-grid solar in Haiti. There's a module then on off-grid solar customers and surveying and understanding key customer needs and customer priorities with different off-grid solar products. There's a whole section on designing off-grid solar systems, particularly using some modeling tools from the National Lab called REOPT, and we'll get into that in just a bit. A section on installation, operations, and maintenance for off-grid solar systems. Then a module on business models, a module on financial modeling for off-grid solar. And then, as I said, a specific module on gender entry points and how energy access can be used to support advancing gender equity and improvement for gender outcomes for communities. A focus on productive use for economic development and supporting things like agricultural processing and telecommunications and hospitals and healthcare. And then a focus on climate adaptation and resilience, but broader resilience in general, how off-grid solar systems can help support communities and households and businesses to be kind of more resilient. So as you can tell, it's quite a lot of content, and I will not be going through all of it today. Instead, my goal today is I'm going to go module by module and kind of describe at a high level what content is available in these modules, and then give some samples of what kind of slides you will be seeing, what kind of material you will be seeing. And I welcome questions and everything throughout, but yeah, that's the structure we're going to go. Hopefully, this gives you a good idea of what material will be available once it's published a little later in March, and hopefully will inspire some conversations as to what how this material could be used or where some of the opportunities are. So before I move to the first module, are there any questions to start off? Okay, I'll move right into it then. We'll start with module 1. As I said, this kind of looks at 3 main topics. This is really helpful for folks who are just starting out in electricity or just trying to understand the off-grid solar and energy space. We start with some basics about electricity and solar energy, how it's calculated, how it's measured, some of the key units that are used. Then we move into more specifically energy access and off-grid solar. So this is looking at both the types of products that are available, the types of system sizes that are available, as well as some of the challenges that energy access brings, particularly in Haiti. And then it goes into what's called the multi-tier framework, which is how we measure energy access. It's the different levels of service that are available from different systems. So I'll give a couple of sample slides as to the kind of content you will see. I won't go into details for these slides, but just to give you a sense of the material to come. So this is an example of one of our slides on sort of electricity basics. You can see that we do start quite early on with basics about units and how to convert between units. As you all know, if you are working in the energy space, unit conversion and unit understanding, particularly between watts and kilowatts, tend to be, and watts and kilowatt hour, watt hours and kilowatt hours, tends to be a source of confusion, particularly for folks just starting out in electricity or just starting out in off-grid solar. So we do dive into that. And then, as I said, we kind of work through the different types of off-grid solar products available. For this training, most of you who are working in off-grid solar, you may know off-grid solar as just being the kind of solar kits. So these smaller lighting points or solar home systems. We take a broader look at off-grid solar and also include standalone solar that are not these kits, but sort of larger systems for households, for hospitals, for other things like that. But in this module, we go through in quite a bit of depth what these different products are, what they can provide, and how they can help to address some of the energy access needs in Haiti. For the second module, we look at the quality of these products. As you all well know, sometimes in markets, you can find a wide variety of quality of products for solar, for batteries, for inverters in Haiti. And one of the key aspects of building the off-grid solar market is working to both help suppliers and our installers to source good quality products and market the value of those good quality products to consumers, because as you all know, if you have bought a lower quality solar panel in the past, it loses its production very, very quickly sometimes, and that can be a pretty significant expense for especially some of the rural households, so we want to make sure that we are building a market that has high quality, reliable products available, and that the suppliers are able to differentiate their products, those products from sort of other things on the market. And so with this, we really focus on what's called the Verisol quality database. It looks at 4 different elements of quality standards, and we kind of do a deep dive into what these standards are, why these standards are important, the value they bring to both consumers and to distributors, as well as some of the products that are available through Verisol. So there's some information on different types of databases that have information on both the solar energy kits themselves, as well as appliances like refrigerators and TVs and fans. Electric pressure cookers are starting to become present in Haiti, egg incubators and solar water pumps. With that, I'll move to our third module. This we know, and most of you that have been working in the space know, that the off-grid solar market in Haiti is still very new, still very nascent. So what USAID did a little while ago in March 2023 was look to do a market potential assessment for off-grid solar in Haiti. And so this module really focuses on that assessment and the results, showing a variety of factors kind of for both the total potential for the market in terms of households and businesses and institutional potential customers, but also those customers' willingness to pay, access to financial resources, interest or awareness of different off-grid solar products. And this is helpful for the current suppliers or current projects and programs in Haiti to understand what their potential is, so that we can have clearer conversations with investors or other financiers to be able to help grow this market from its early stages right now to its much more mature market down the line. So as I said, this module focuses on this assessment. You can see on the screen here what this assessment did, where it focused. It was a pretty high level assessment given the situation at the time, but it still offers some interesting insights as to what kind of products are available, what kind of products are of interest, and what the ability to pay for those products or access finance to pay for those products are across households, kind of small and medium enterprises, as well as institutional customers. And ultimately, they come up with very specific estimates for those different market segments, and showing a pretty large potential for off-grid solar products. And this is balancing other types of energy access products, like connection to the national grid or to regional electricity grids, or things like mini grids, like those in the south or the north. So this is kind of a good framework to be able to think through other conversations with programs like the Off-Grid Electricity Fund, and as well as private sector entrepreneurs, some of which I believe are on the call as well. Just this assessment kind of holds the frame for the rest of the modules as to why this is important and what opportunity there is. And so from there, we move to module 4, which looks at looking at more specifically at our off-grid solar customers, who they are, kind of their key characteristics. In the past, in other markets, why households and businesses have invested in off-grid solar, and what kind of key characteristics for products or for service are they looking for? So durability or sustainability or cost affordability or the ability to power certain appliances. And then it moves into specifically what's called an energy needs assessment, providing a framework for doing customer surveying and customer assessment to understand, okay, what kind of systems, what kind of products might be appropriate for these customers, and what opportunity there is to tailor things. And this whole energy needs assessment framework is really useful for kind of contextualizing some of the key pieces of information that both projects, programs, and the kind of developers or distributors of these products need to have to be able to kind of capture some of that market potential that we were just talking through. And so, as I said, most of this focuses on this energy needs assessment framework and giving kind of key questions and key best practices for survey enumerators or for the individuals doing the assessment to capture information from potential customers and communities for designing these systems. So including location, building and site characteristics, demographics, current and future energy needs, energy expenditures and financing, as well as the key challenges that they're currently having with their energy. For example, if somebody was looking for a solar system as a backup to service from EDH, they may need different systems than somebody who doesn't have service at all, or maybe has very little energy demand. But this assessment framework can help to understand those key needs and design more specific systems. We also include in this kind of a walking step through of how you would construct an estimate of load demand and load profiles for individual customers based on the survey framework and the energy needs assessment. And all of this feeds into sort of designing and modeling our off-grid solar systems. This is a key module in this training because it goes through NREL's Renewable Energy Optimization tool, which Sophie can share the link in chat. And this tool is a free kind of open source online tool that enables people to estimate the sizing for solar and battery and diesel and combinations of systems to meet specific energy needs for either cost savings or resilience from grid outages, or a variety of different parameters. But it allows you to enter specific site data or specific load data, for example, what was developed in module 4, and then estimate what kind of solar system, what kind of battery system, the actual sizings that you would need to be able to meet that demand with the key parameters outlined. So this module goes into pretty deep detail about how to use the online tool for REOPT, kind of what inputs are needed, what outputs can be expected. And then it gives some examples of how REOPT can be used for specific projects in Haiti. There's an example of a dispensaire in the south, just kind of using how you could use REOPT to design systems. So as I said, these are kind of some sample slides from that training, but it starts with an overview of what REOPT is and what it can be used for. And then kind of goes through inputs and outputs, and then in the link that Sophie shares, kind of goes through the actual online tool and kind of steps through step by step what you need to do to be able to utilize the tool. And you'll also find linked out additional kind of training resources that are quite valuable for being able to use this REOPT tool for designing and modeling off-grid solar systems. I'll pause there. We're halfway through. I'll pause to take a breath and see if there are any questions from folks as to what I'm presenting. I know we haven't been able to go in super detail at the moment, but high level, if there are questions about content or how some of these might be able to be used or the format of them, anything, be happy to answer. All right, you're gonna give me no breaks this morning. I will go on then to module 6. So working from our design and modeling, an important next step obviously is installing and operating and maintaining our solar systems. So this module does focus on some of the configuration considerations, the installation considerations, and some of the key component considerations for off-grid solar systems. And while it doesn't go into detail as to how exactly you would be qualified to install yourself, it does provide strong overview for the different kinds of consideration and links out to other training programs that can provide more detail on that actual physical installation element. But as I said, we spent a bit of time walking through different configurations for off-grid solar. Whether powering AC loads or DC loads and different configurations of batteries or generators or the PV systems itself. And then we work to describe different components of off-grid solar systems. Here on the screen, you see an example of some of the mounting materials, but we kind of step through each individual component from inverters to kind of racking to the modules themselves to wire management and then go into the actual operations and maintenance, including preventative maintenance and corrective maintenance, as well as some considerations for designing solar systems in hurricane risk areas like Haiti. From there, once your system is installed, like we want to focus on the business models for off-grid solar. For those that have worked in this space, you know that there's quite a lot that goes into business models for off-grid solar. And we step through kind of a wide variety of these in this module. So we start kind of by looking at the differences between what is called pay-as-you-go solar. So you've probably seen this in other contexts, particularly in Africa, where people can prepay for electricity that they will then use through their solar home system. This is a common kind of arrangement for off-grid solar, but you also have more traditional business models, kind of cash-based transactions, which are more common, at least at the moment, in Haiti. And then some of the other elements around off-grid solar, including credit risk management, how we kind of manage the risks of providing equipment and power to communities that have maybe lower access to finance or ability to pay. How do we manage that risk in a business model sense? And then kind of work at a higher level to look at the broader investment space for financing for off-grid solar. This is meant to be kind of forward-looking for Haiti. There has been some initial investment and support of companies, particularly through programs like the Off-Grid Electricity Fund and some of the government-led initiatives for energy access, mostly for microgrids like the FARS program. But there's a big opportunity in the space to kind of look at different pathways. And so this provides an overview of debt and equity and grant kind of considerations and the global flows for those investments for the off-grid solar space. And then some of the other kind of more social elements of business models, including customer protection and the impact tracking. So how do you both track and report your impact, as well as considerations for management of the end of life for solar products and what can be done to kind of to create new opportunities for businesses at the end of life, but also to lessen the impact of equipment sort of at the end of life. And so examples that you'll see, overarching business models, as I said, we talked through this kind of spectrum of business models from a service where you're paying for just the electricity, or maybe you're owning it over time in a lease to own model, and then all the way to just pure kind of cash transactions. And we look, as I said, a deeper dive into investment volumes globally for the off-grid solar sector as a way to kind of illustrate the opportunity for Haiti if we are starting to grow the off-grid solar market in general. We move then to financial modeling for off-grid solar. Obviously, this is a topic that could be 40 hours of content by itself. So we instead, what we have done is created a very simplified financial model that teaches some of the concepts of financial modeling for off-grid solar, including like net present value and some of the return on investment parameters. And then we point out to this broader set of resources from USAID, which includes some bigger business model and financial modeling tools, as well as some more specific and detailed guides for how to set up a full financial model. As I said throughout, the goal of this course content is to provide sort of foundational knowledge, but also to link out to additional resources for folks to be able to dive in more deeply to specific topics if they want to. Quickly moving into gender and off-grid solar, there's a big opportunity, especially with energy access and off-grid solar, to be helping to support sort of advancement of gender equity and some opportunity for women and young girls at the same time. This is a sort of this module starts at a higher level to talk through some basics for these concepts and why they are important, and how importantly energy access and off-grid solar can help to support them, and what the opportunities are from a business perspective as to why we are integrating gender and what value does that bring for an off-grid solar business apart from just supporting women. There's also pretty clear research and kind of evidence from other markets that by integrating gender more specifically into your off-grid solar business or your off-grid solar project, you are able to get better financial returns, better customer retention, better marketing, a whole bunch of different pieces. So what this module does is it starts with sort of the basics of what these concepts are and why they're important, and then moves into what we call entry points for how can a business start to think about these things, and how can it start to integrate gender more specifically into its operations. And so this is an example of some of the starting point for why it's important, why energy access can help to enable empowerment as well as kind of collective action over time. This starts at a very simple level on reducing kind of drudgery or reducing indoor air pollution from burning of other kind of alternative energy fuels, which most often are borne more by women and young children, to also building up to things like water pumping and agricultural processing, which can help to reduce time spent on doing that manually so that it enables more time to be spent on other activities. And then we can look at how, for example, energy access can empower both community services as well as opportunities for workforce development, which we'll come back to just shortly. And as I said, the module also spends quite a bit of time talking through the investment and business value for more specifically integrating gender into off-grid solar, particularly focused on how customer retention and business economics, as well as the other pieces like marketing and customer satisfaction all improve by integrating gender more formally, which shows it more as a business opportunity and sort of a business necessity as well over time. And a key aspect as well is how we can use off-grid solar and energy access to help empower what's called productive use of energy. So this is using electricity to power businesses, to power opportunities for socioeconomic development, powering healthcare and telecommunications, and even just simple things like lighting for stores or agricultural processing or water pumping. So this module in particular starts at a high level as to, okay, what is productive use of energy, but it mostly focuses on examples of productive use of energy applications for off-grid solar developed in Haiti. And so, for example, this includes things like the cold rooms for fisheries that were done in Cavaillon with the Ministry of Ag and the World Bank, as well as smaller applications like the solar water pumping stations in Cavaillon and Grand Bassin from Nova Solar. And then stuff like the project that I had worked on before coming to NREL, deploying solar and storage for the telecommunications tower and health dispensary in Tiburon following the 2021 earthquake. All of these kind of help to illustrate that the concept that is very simple for everyone who thinks about it, like, yes, electricity helps businesses, that much is obvious, but the way that you can approach sort of development of projects or the ideas for the development of projects is really important, especially at these early stages of the off-grid solar market in Haiti. Building off of that, the last module that we had was on sort of adaptation and resilience. It is specific for climate, but a lot of the concepts also apply to being resilient to other things as well, particularly in the current conflict situation. As I don't need to tell you, like, fuels are hard to come by, so being able to have individual solar can be helpful for kind of sustaining normal life and normal business, even despite interruptions from either storms or floods, but also more human-caused impacts like protests or roadblocks or things of this nature. So it provides a framework of what's called Race to Resilience, which talks through the concepts for resilience and adaptation and risks and vulnerability, and then kind of focuses, just like the productive use of energy module, on how off-grid solar can help to support building resilience in communities. And then as well, what is important for actual project developers or distributors is how to communicate the climate benefits, or how to calculate or communicate the climate benefits of your work to funders or to other interested parties who may say, we are able to invest only if we are helping to both reduce air pollution or greenhouse gases, but also if we are helping to improve climate adaptation and resilience for people. There's a lot of finance in the climate space right now. And so being able to understand some of these elements as well as being able to construct the appropriate narratives is going to be helpful. So as I said, this is an example of that risk and hazard frame. The module spends a bit of time talking through these concepts because it'll allow folks to both understand these nuances and design systems and business models to kind of address these different elements. Then we look at the Global Off-Grid Lighting Association, GOGLA, their kind of framework for how energy access helps to support adaptation and resilience. This is looking at, of course, simple things like creating new jobs and diversifying livelihoods, but then also supporting food and water security and access to information, strengthening both awareness of and resilience to respond to weather events or other disruptions, and then improving things like health by deploying at hospitals or doing vaccine refrigerators or things like this. And so just like we did in the PUE, there are examples of this. For example, some of the water purifying and pumping operations from Delot and from Église Methodiste. The example of Digital Cap's new facility for meds and foods for kids that kind of helps keep their production facility online, even despite some interruptions from the grid in Cap-Haïtien. And then, yeah, so before I go on to next steps, that's kind of the overview of our modules. I know I've thrown a lot of information at you, and I know that you probably would have more questions once you're able to see the material in full. And again, we'll be sharing that material in the next couple weeks. But any questions before I move on to next steps? Thank you all for the attention so far. Okay, we'll move on to next steps. I think the big thing to note is that we are hoping to work with USAID and the Université d'État Faculté des Sciences again to develop additional course curriculums to support more specific materials for the clean energy transition, and particularly do some deeper dive into more technical materials. This off-grid solar work is supposed to be a much higher level and more geared towards folks who are new to the space, to kind of give an understanding of these different pieces and allow for folks to engage in conversation that maybe before wasn't available to them. But there is, as our partners have noted, a big need to be kind of developing more specific curriculum material and more specific programs for like accredited curriculum material to support more power system technical modeling. So whether it's on system and electrification modeling using, for example, NREL's Engage tool, which will also be sharing some training materials for the Engage modeling platform a little bit later this month. And we'll share it with this group and others, but also on power system kind of engineering. NREL has done this with what's called the Global Power System Transformation Consortium, GPST. And Sophie will put in an example of the past curriculum materials that we developed there that are much more focused on the actual integration of renewables into high voltage networks, how to leverage inverter-based resources for electricity production electrification and some of the challenges or new opportunities that brings for grid stability and inertia management and grid and sort of grid protection and control, as well as aspects like certain grid following technologies. I know Haiti is looking at deploying some grid following technologies for the new solar plant with IDB coming online in the north. So some of these materials, for example, have been developed by NREL in the past and in partnership with other universities. And we do think that there is a good opportunity to be able to continue this work and kind of expand to focus on maybe more specific topics and do some more in-depth support. But this is where I would love to have a little bit of a discussion here at the end of our time. Go ahead, Jean-François.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much to you and the entire team that put this together. And it's hard for me to express how impactful I think what the content you're putting together could be. I realize that this week is extremely complicated in Haiti, which may explain some of the. I don't know what kind of attendance you're expecting to this presentation today, but one question I have is whether you as a group have looked into discussing this MMO with the Bankers Association and with the Microfinance Association and with the cooperatives, and quite frankly with the Central Bank of Haiti, because they oversee every one of those subsegments. I think from what I'm seeing, I mean, so I'm just going to take a step back. I'm Jean-François Péan. I'm a senior investment manager with Bamboo Capital Partners. And together with Fond de Développement Industriel in Haiti, we co-manage the Off-Grid Electricity Fund. And since 2019, we've invested in 8 companies that work in this space and that do some of the Verasol investments in distribution. We've invested in businesses that are more commercial and industrial type clients, including Digital Cap, and we've also done some mini grids and measurements. So just to give you an idea of what we're doing. So I find the package that you put together that's reflective of our experience in the country and goes over well the learnings that I mean, it's not having seen the actual content, but at least the modules go over well on learnings. So I'm curious what your thoughts are about developing something specifically based off that for that sector, because I think there's a huge lack of understanding of the solar sector in the country by the potential financiers, and that's probably the main roadblock to a wider adaptation of solar power off-grid in the country. So.
Thanks so much, Jean-François. That's really helpful. The short answer is that we have thought about it and want to be able to do it. We recognize that it is a big roadblock, and NREL has done some work with MFIs, sort of on kind of understanding risk for mini grids and off-grid solar in other countries, and so we would. I think there is a really big opportunity to develop more materials specific for the Haitian microfinance and banking sector, particularly as you noted, for both individual consumer finance. So how do we improve the access to finance to be able to even buy pay-go or buy off-grid solar equipment, but also just in general for, I believe we have heard that this is a challenge from individual companies as well, is outside of finance, access to finance, for example, through OJEF and other programs like it, it's difficult, for example, to communicate both the investment opportunity as well as the ability to manage risk in the off-grid solar sector. In other countries, and indeed in the USAID report for Haiti, it is, you are right, highlighted as one of the big barriers is that off-grid solar is seen as a very risky product, but it's not really seen as a risky product because it is risky in and of itself. It is seen as a risky product because the banks, and especially the more local microfinance institutions, tend to not be fully understand the opportunity or fully understand the business model. And so actually the shorter answer is that we would love to have that be part of follow on. It isn't in this current deck, although this material would be appropriate to use or to adapt for something like that. But I'm sorry to put you on the spot, Guy, but I wanted to flag some of Guy and Francois's work in terms of access to both productive use of electricity equipment, but also some of the individual solar that they're doing. A lot of that work is directly with consumer finance institutions. Guy, can I put you on the spot to kind of talk through a little bit of that work that you all have done? I think it's quite relevant for the question.
Bonsoir tout le monde, je suis Guy Vital de la Fondation Francoisé. Oui, alors merci Andy. La question de financement, au fait, là où nous autres, alors la Francoisé, la fondation, j'insiste pour dire que c'est la Fondation Francoisé qui gère en ce moment un projet de promotion pour les PIWI, l'usage productif de l'énergie, de l'électricité. Mais c'est pas du tout, on ne passe pas du tout par disons, la société financière francophone. Donc, il n'y a pas on essaie à travers ce projet de renforcer les micro-entreprises avec lesquelles on travaille pour disons, renforcer leur capacité à aller vers certaines organisations de financement. Mais ce n'est pas du tout la société financière Foncoisé qui gère, ou le projet ne passe pas du tout par un financement d'entreprises ou financement de systèmes off-grid ou rien de ce genre pour l'instant. Je ne sais pas si j'ai été clair, M. Péan.
Oh, that was very clear. Thank you, Guy. Jean-François, is that okay for this moment? I think what would be great in my perspective is I would love maybe to have a separate conversation with OJEF. I know we have talked a little bit in the past as part of some of the other work streams, but I think we need to kind of think through how exactly what kind of training materials might be most helpful to bridge that gap, because you're absolutely right that it is one of the big barriers.
Sure. I think what you have, I'm happy to have a separate conversation. I think what you have as the main deck is absolutely great. Maybe just an addition would be something a bit more adapted to the Haitian fiscal and legal context, but honestly, it would mean engagement with some of the banking actors and microfinance actors and cooperative actors. Simply put, I think they'd be open to it. There's just been
it's so hard.
But yeah, there's just been a situation in the country where lots of banking professionals and financial professionals have left, and what you have is a top management that's just putting out fires and unable to. But this content, I think they would love it, and they are already part of the banking institute sort of training program, so they're used to these kinds of trainings. But yeah, that was my main comment, which is to say that OJEF has done I think some good work. We're ending our investment period this year, and so it would be super useful to support you and other financial actors so that you know, the work that we then can be taken forward and
Thank you for yeah, thank you for that. What I'll say just right now is that we will release the full modules in French and English probably in the next couple weeks here, certainly this month. And when those come out, I would love your I would love everybody's keen kind of feedback on those and how we can adapt or develop new collaborations. That's what this slide really is how can we, what are the areas that we need to kind of focus on to develop more. So as you have those ideas, as anybody have those ideas, would love to hear from you. We're sort of at the end of our time here, but I think the biggest thing that I want to say is that we are working with USAID and our university partners to kind of think through what is going to be valuable, both in terms of curriculum targeted for university and a workforce development, but also kind of broader applicability of training programs for, like you said, MFIs or maybe specific operators or other kind of sectors adjacent. So we would really love to hear your ideas, and we would love to collaborate with you all. My email is on the screen, and I'll also send it out in the email to you all with the materials in a few weeks. But at this moment, I just want to say thank you again to our partners, particularly our university partners, Professor Giraud and Professor Jadot and Professor Lemont. We really appreciate working with you to be able to launch this material, and we hope that you all are able to access the material in a couple weeks. Very much welcome your feedback and look forward to future collaborations in Haiti. But for the moment, thank you again for your time this morning, and sincerely again, I hope that you and your colleagues and your family are all staying safe, all things considered. Merci beaucoup et bonne soirée.
Thank you. Bye.